share with you how I perform and be transparent na I'm not, or I just did average for someone now. Enough, ang goal was just to pass. Hi, welcome back. So for today's video, I will be sharing with you my bar exam plan and my notes and suggested materials for review. I have here a table of a simplified version ng bar exam plan ko back when I was in first year that I tried to follow along the way. And basically, looking back, it was a bird's eye view of ano yung dapat kong gagawin in preparation for taking the bar exam. So here, the first column is basically the year level I was in. Second column are the goals, then the objectives and a side quest. So when I was in first year, I told myself na I want to build a good legal foundation and study discipline. So the objectives were to understand and memorize basic codal provisions using active recall, practice identifying legal issues from fact patterns weekly. So that was through reading a few bar exam questions every week. And then lastly, to develop consistent study habits. A side quest ko. So hindi naman kasi pwede na super seryoso na puro book lang ang life. So a side quest here was to find good set of friends. A good set of friends naman siguro is one na will encourage you to do better, support you through the hard times, and hindi yung bad influence like tara cutting, tara skip class, ganon. So that's one good side quest to have. When I was in second year naman, the goal was to develop analytical rigor na I will not have that hard of a time analyzing questions or cases anymore. So the objectives were to answer at least one bar type question per subject every week and annotate codal provisions with cross-references and cases na are examples. So a side quest here was to join a student organization. So luckily, I was able to join in a few and actually be the editor-in-chief of our of our official publication in school. So that way, I was forced actually to network because again, it's not possible to lead the org without interacting sa other activities or other people who are in school or outside of school. So that was a really good avenue for me to build my network. When I was in third year naman, the goal was to master complex doctrines and bar style argumentation. So the objectives were to draft complete bar answers under time pressure. So the time was 12 to 15 minutes each kasi that's considering na if you divide 60, you multiply 60 minutes per hour times 4 divided by 20, which is the number of questions na you have to answer. You have around 12 minutes per question. So you have to finish by then. So that's why you have to be familiar dun sa feeling na yun na you answer quicker than usual. And then you build flowcharts for procedural rules, especially for me na medyo visual learner ako. Flowcharts really help. So I will show you later my flowchart na I did for the research paper we had for remedial law, and then review previous bar questions to identify patterns in examiner questioning. So, no third year ako, my side quest was to be an active law student practitioner. I was fortunate to reach level 2 student practice and then participate sa Tanglaw Diwa Law Clinic. And by the time I was in fourth year, the goal was to simulate bar exams and develop speed and confidence in answering. So the objectives were to take review subject mock bar exams seriously, review and rewrite answers based on examiner rubrics. Ibig sabihin, I had to change the way I was answering because back in law school, my answers were quite long. mga 6, mababa na yung 5 sentence. Umaabot ako ng 7 sentence at most. So, I had to change that because after repeatedly listening sa mga bar lecturers who were once examiners, sabi nila dapat actually sa first sentence pa lang, nandiyan na yung complete answer mo. Dapat na-mention mo na yung legal basis and principle na hinihingi dun sa question. So, another objective here was to complete a condensed final review work. So later I'll show you my handwritten notes or yung naging final review work ko for the bar exam. And then a side quest here when I was in 4th year was to buy a new laptop or go on a short fun trip. So I ended up watching a concert. I think I ended up watching the 1975, and it was such a good concert. So whenever I was bored or sad during the bar review, I could look back dun sa photos or videos and remember na, man, I had such a good time. And after this exam, I'll have another one of these experience. So, yun na yan. Yun yung point on why you should have a fun trip. You feel more refreshed. And then during the review period, I only consolidate and polish na lang. So complete 1 round of review per subject within the last 2 months and prioritize the weakest subjects. So my side quest here was to not get too fat. Kasi yun yung usual problem na basa ka lang ng basa, kain ka ng kain, basa ka ng kain, basa at kain, basa at kain. So tataba ka talaga. So I tried to watch what I was eating. What I did was I just ordered na lang meal prep na set of food na I did not have to prepare myself, and then measured yung calories, so I did not have to think about that anymore. So yeah, that's my bar exam plan. Next, I'll try to discuss some of my recommended reading materials for your bar exam. So for political law, I'll share 3 kinds. So one is annotation na recommended ko. One is notes type na mabibili from another lawyer maybe, or you get the digital copy and then you print it out. And then another is a LMT. So for political law, the annotation is Bernas, and then the notes, Jello notes. LMT is one from Atty. Loanzon, which during that year she was in Legal Edge. I cannot recommend one particular review center kasi what I did was I followed the lecturers that I wanted, or the best ones na I know. So I was fortunate enough to be enrolled in UP, Law Review, Ateneo, Law Review, and Legal Edge for the last minute tips. So for the last minute tips, that was Atty. Luanzon for political law. For commercial law, I chose Villanueva for the annotation, the LMT from Atty. Divina, and then mostly codal provisions or my own notes. Then for civil law, mostly for persons and family relations, Rabuya. For Oblicon, I think Uribe is better. And then for LMT, I chose UP for civil law. Labor law, I did Chan. It's not updated, so I really had to read twice the LMTs of Attorney Batad Evelyn and Jello notes. And for remedial naman, for criminal law, I did Prosec Garcia's notes, Prosec Garcia's last minute tips, and Codal. So most of it were from Legal Edge na access. And lastly, for remedial law, either Riano or Rigera, codal provisions a must. And Attorney Maui's evidence. I think Attorney Maui's also had an LMT. I like how Attorney Mawis does her lectures. So yeah, those are my recommended materials and lectures na might help you in choosing, might help you understand better the topics. And I guess that's it for now. I don't know if I've missed something. Pause muna natin. So before I proceed in showing you my notes for the bar exam review, I want to share with you how I perform and be transparent na I am not, or I just did average for someone now. Enough ang goal was just to pass. I think I did well. Kasi I think it was halfway through bar review when I listened to Attorney Villanueva. He said na if you're not a genius, why would you have to aim to top the bar exam? Di ba ang kailangan mo lang naman ay pumasa. So from there, I set my goals to a more realistic level. And sabi ko, gusto ko lang, or what I just need is to pass every subject. Just to get a 75 or higher is enough. So, yun na lang yung naging mindset ko when I was preparing in dun sa later 2 months of the bar review. And that was, I think, the secret why I had a good time. Hindi na ako na-stress. Kumbaga, I did not put too much pressure in myself, and I got this. I think it's good enough. So that's 77.93. When you click the year that you took the bar, you'll find your examinee name. Soon, this is gonna be yours. Bar examinee number, and then the grade. So for political law, I got 77.2, weighted average 11.58. Commercial and tax, 81.9, that's 20%. So nahila dun ng 16.38. Civil law as well, 79.4, 20%. Get 15.88. Labor law, 75.7, 10%, 7.57. Criminal law, 77.7, 10% lang naman, 7.77. And then remedial law, 75. So that's 25, no weighted average, that's 18.75. So that's it. That's how I managed to pass the bar exam. And a realistic look kung ano itsura ng breakdown ng grades. So, not all that special. I think average is still good. And congrats to us, average people. Anyway, I hope na nakatulong yan. So, back to the notes. So, here's some of my notes from the bar exam last year, and I don't know what's the best way to show you these, pero I will try my best. So maybe I'll start off with how I read photos. So syempre yung photos ko, the small book itself, were with highlights na. Pero ang hirap kasi na isulat yung general rule, exceptions, and some acronyms on it because it's so small na I had to print out my codals. I had a printout version of the codals. So here, for example, this is the revised rules of board. And then, I don't know if this is the best quality. But anyways, the way I have been highlighting sa codals ko have been the same since I was in first year. So it not changed. So tatlong colors lang talaga yung ginamit ko. That's banana yellow, RIP. RIP banana yellow. And then the Faber-Castell na red or pink, and then blue. So basically, red are terms or important principles or topics. And then yellow are just the general things na I have to remember or take note, and then blue are exceptions. So then sometimes I would underline pa to emphasize, and circle and or ors, and then just add notes along the way. So that's how I did the codals. So especially for remedial, codal talaga dapat eh. That's it. What else? And for example, yun naman sa evidence evidence was a bit harder. Mas maraming nuisance ang evidence. So I had a big space here sa gilid. That's where I write my notes for the general rule, exceptions, or anything na I have to take note. And then I used red and blue pen. Kasi blue, meron ding daw research na it's easier to memorize stuff if they're written in blue pen. Tapos I had some red pens na notes just to distinguish from things. Kasi kung blue lahat yan, parang ang hirap rin. I don't know. Maybe it's just for aesthetic value. So that's evidence. Yeah, that's evidence. And then, ito na. Yung for civil law ko naman is also mostly codal. Patayo naman yung ginawa. Kasi I needed smaller space lang naman for the annotations. That's just it. And I was doing this during review class. So, second semester, ito na yung ginagawa ko. This was already in preparation and not the bar review period. Kasi kung bar review period ka pa mag-annotate, that's very late. So, nung bar review period, ito na lang yung binabasa ko, yung annotations ko na. Yung sa commercial law ko naman, I had it printed out. The syllabus itself, here's the syllabus part, the purple. Tapos, yung case laws or matters na I have to memorize na medyo verbatim. That's why I chose to print it out. And also, our professor required us that year to produce a reviewer. Kaya, ayan, I had no choice but to print it out. But my personal choice naman is handwritten notes. So, ang final or personal reviewer ko were handwritten. How did I do it? Where do we start? Sige, ito sa political law pa. Commercial. Hindi, sige, political law. Sa political... God! Sa political law. So, this is my political law syllabus-based reviewer. So, oh my gosh. I don't know how to make sense of it now. But basically, yung more part on the definition and the ruling and the key terms na I have to remember, and the cases as well na I would mark MVL, big sabihin that's a bar chair case. I would write them down talaga verbatim kasi I think during these times, I was so delulu na I think I can top the bar. So, kanyang kadami yung sinusulat ko. Ewan ko ba? Na-absorb ko din to lahat. Na-absorb ko to lahat. Anyways, I had some cases na I was predicting na lalabas. So, I had excerpts of them here. And then other topics. And then I would occupy even the backspace. And yung mga naka-highlight sa syllabus part, yun yung bago or tinangga or might have been a topic na hiniwalay na, which you must take note kasi baka or most likely lalabas yun. So, may mga topics na blank kasi I had a feeling na hindi naman siguro itatanong. like the lawmaking process. Hindi ko na yun masyado inisip. So that's it. That's for political law. And then siguro it's pretty much the same for the other subjects. So just quickly show civil law. There's one for labor. Criminal law, mostly from Prosec G's lecture. Commercial and taxation law, mostly from Ateneo de Manila na lectures. And remedial law, na onte lang. Ang remedial law po actually very sparse ang notes. Kasi, oh my God, pagod na ako. By the time na rem na yung inaaral ko, I was just so tired. Pero kaya. So, kung ano na lang yung maalala ko from what my professor was teaching, yun lang. Pero kasi I was somehow confident na I would be okay sa rem kasi our class sometimes would last mga 10 to 15 hours in a day for remedial classes. So, I think enough na siguro yun. Hindi ka pa ba magiging confident kahit konti sa ganun kahaba na class? So, that helped a lot. Thank you, Judge D. You're the best. Anyways, yun na yun. Yun yung notes, handwritten notes ko. Do I recommend having your own handwritten notes? No, if you're not a full-time student kasi it's so time-consuming. Pero if more on rote memorization ka, maybe you still need and you just have to find the time for it. And what else? Yeah, I think this way rin kasi when I was doing my notes, I was not merely copying word per word. Mindlessly copying. I was not mindlessly copying. And nandun ako sa apply and analyze kasi I'm trying to connect din at the same time yung topics na inaaral ko, yung mga terms. And also, yung cases talaga. Yung cases ni MVL. Lahat ng cases ni MVL, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I read. And then, I had to I identified per subject talaga kung saan na belong yung topic na yun. Hindi naman lumabas lahat, pero nakatulong sa confidence na nabasa ko, na-identify ko saan na topic or subject it might come out. So, it helped. Do what feels good. Parang, if I have a suggestion, do what is comfortable. Hindi ba comfortable? Parang kung ano yung nakasanayan nyo. Kasi parang, it's not the time for experimentation. So, parang review period, dapat alam mo na talaga what will work best for you. So, if you're still a first year now, dapat you explore na. Or if you're in your fourth year, dapat you should have memorized it. I think that's all for today's video. It's a bit long, but I hope na there are things you can take from my experience na might help you with your bar exam preparation. So, good luck for those who will be taking the bar exam on 2026. I hope na more of you pass and more of you enjoy your review.